Blaster Master is a 1988 game for the Nintendo Entertainment System developed by Tokai Engineering and published by Sunsoft. And it is awesome. A franchise that took decades to get the attention it was due, Blaster Master Zero just recently released on the Nintendo Switch and 3DS, making this a great time to put together a video about a game that I literally just discovered last year. I had heard of Blaster Master for years and years, but it never seemed like a game I wanted to play. I never looked up video of it, I'd only read generic descriptions of the game, and one day I simply decided to try out a ROM of the game on an emulator. Less than an hour later, I had ordered the cartridge for the game online. I had to own it so that I could play it properly. What blew my socks off about this game? Everything. From the moment the first level starts, you're thrown into a classic side-scrolling and platforming action game. Jumping, shooting, you eventually unlock the ability to hover, and you find weapons upgrades along your journey. But that's not all. You can hop out of your vehicle, which you learn from the pause screen is called Sophia the Third for some reason, and proceed on foot, allowing you to run, jump, climb ladders, and swim your way through hazardous areas. But we still aren't done. Enter certain doorways, and then you're greeted by an overhead view of your character, armored for battle and equipped with his weapon, charging through enemy territory in a close-up fashion. And you look so cool! Okay, maybe pink isn't the best camouflage, but you still look awesome. The deeper I dig into this game, the more I like it, which is very surprising, seeing as how typically when you have a game that combines multiple playstyles, it's usually done to pad out a game that's otherwise weak, but Blaster Master seems solid on all fronts. The controls in all game modes are crisp and precise. You have some control in the air, and you don't get thrown back when enemies damage you, and the game can be challenging yet quite fair. Once you get the hang of the gameplay, the hardest part of the game is keeping track of where to go in the sprawling levels. Some parts of the game are split up into areas, but since this cartridge classic has no real load times, it just feels like one gigantic sprawling game. You don't get any time to breathe unless you force yourself to take a break. But you might want to take a break from time to time because the music in Blaster Master is fantastic. Even the very first time I played the game, I found myself just sitting still listening to the cool tunes. How had I been missing this game my whole life? The sound effects match the on-screen action perfectly. Nothing seems like it doesn't belong in the game. The sound effects stack quite neatly. So, say for example you're doing a lot of damage to an enemy very rapidly, you actually receive audible feedback letting you know you're successfully hurting them. Although I already mentioned the different views and gameplay styles, I have to take an extra minute to talk about the graphics. I was stunned that this game was as early in the life of the NES as it was, right around the middle of the console's lifespan, but those overhead screens, the sprites are so large. I was shocked that you could have so much movement on the screen at once and not constantly be paying for it. Don't get me wrong, the game does experience slowdowns, but given the size of your main character, it's not like you're a tiny Mario or Mega Man sprite. The side-scrolling levels also look excellent. The platforming shooter with satisfying jumping mechanics are all things that feel right at home inside an 8-bit world. Everything from your vehicle to the enemies to the level design itself, it all looks good. Some of the levels get repetitive and same-looking, which can get you turned around when trying to find your way, but the individual levels appear to have distinct environments so that the entire game doesn't visually tire you out. So despite the fact that I'm almost 30 years late to this game, I'm still having a blast with it. A game that put this much attention into the gameplay, sound, and graphics must have an amazing story, right? For that, I'll go to the instruction booklet. This game is about a guy named Jason. Jason had a pet frog named Fred. One day, Fred decided that he had had enough of being locked up in a fishbowl and made a dash for the door. As fate would have it, Jason was there when all this happened, and he gave chase. Once outside, Jason was totally amazed to find Fred running toward a huge radioactive chest. As soon as Fred touched it, he grew to an enormous size, and the radioactive chest fell into the earth along with Fred. Jason tried to reach for Fred, but fell into the hole along with him. When Fred landed, he found himself alone next to a huge armored vehicle. This was not just any vehicle, but one designed for the ultimate challenge against the radioactive mutants living under the Earth's crust. These mutants, created from escaped radioactive waste, are controlled by the Plutonium Boss. Your mission is to fight your way and destroy the Plutonium Boss before he destroys you. Along your way to your final encounter are many warlords of the underground you must destroy. Oh, wow. Okay, I'll admit that's a little worse than I was expecting. Let's see if the game itself has any additional details. Yikes, even less information. Nothing about the radioactive mutants under the Earth's crust. You're literally just a kid searching for his frog who hijacks some construction equipment because you found the keys in it. What a terrible example for children. But it's the kind of hilarious, irreverent story that a game designer would love to proffer in the 1980s. It's almost self-aware, mocking the fact that if you came for a story, you came to the wrong place. This is all about pure fun gameplay. And on that promise, it delivers. But after you beat a few levels of Blaster Master, you realize that you just finish off a boss and move on to the next level, once you find it, that is. Your quest continues uninterrupted, unburdened by story details. Will Jason ever find Fred the Frog? Will he defeat the Plutonium Boss? Is there some kind of overarching morality play going on here about the damages of pollution? Why did Jason have radioactive goo in his backyard? Most of these questions will not be answered, but the rest are for you to discover. I'm confident that you'll have a blast playing this game, but you'll have to reach the end in order to master our story so far. Hey everybody, thanks for watching episode 42 of Our Story So Far TV. As always, I'm Garrett, and I'm available for comment over on Twitter at NewAngel, that's Nuangel. Likes, comments, and subscriptions here on YouTube also always go a long way. By the way, for the first time on this channel, I'm doing something a little bit different. During the month of April here in 2017, I'm doing something called the 30 Days of Gaming with my friend Mike. Feel free to check out our other 30 Days of Gaming videos here on the channel. They're in their own playlist as well. They're just sort of very short, audio-only podcast kind of things that let you know a little bit more about me. If you're looking for more episodes of this show and don't know where to look, the easiest thing to do is to start at ourstorysofar.tv. The 30 Days of Gaming episode should come out daily this whole month, but if you're looking for another episode of Our Story So Far TV, you'll have to wait 2 more weeks. Until next time, take care of yourself.